Hi, this is Dan Collins coming to you live from Traders Expo, New York. I'm joined by Ashraf Laidi from ashraflaidi.com.
Thanks for having me, Dan. How are you? It's been a while.
Great. Well, you're a longtime speaker at these conferences, but you missed a few.
Yep.
It's good to have you back.
Yep.
Ashraf's an expert on the foreign exchange markets, and it's a really interesting time in forex right now.
Very interesting, yes, Dan. We're not going to even mention the things that you guys are very well aware of, which is another Brexit vote this week. But you know, for the last few years, I've been more involved with trading, with when to stick with your position, whether it's a loss, whether it's a gain. And basically at ashraflaidi.com, where we're providing, it's a combination of signal service, but there's also a free section where you basically have a wrap-up on the market. And as you very well know, my focus is intermarket analysis, which is tied to currency trading, with the book which I wrote in 2007, just basically how do you tie in currencies with indices and with gold.
Yes, and intermarket, I mean, forex is a perfect sector for intermarket strategies, because everything is traded in a currency and has an effect on a currency.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you know what? Listen, you know, when you go into the trading world or the trading battle, it's all about sticking to your guns and increasing your confidence as much as you can. What do I mean by that? If you are down 60 pips or 70 pips, what do? Do you cut your loss? Do you double down? Do you hang in there? And you have to be very confident on what to do. And I think that I'll give you an example. You know, let's say you're long euro dollar, and you think the stop is a 112, and the market is testing 112. It's actually touched 111.90. What do? Do you abandon your position? So you want to know how much of that decline in euro dollar, Dan, is a reflection of a rise in the dollar, or is it just mainly a decline in the euro? So what you want to do, you want to see what the technicals are doing with gold. Gold RSI held up. The sterling versus the dollar RSI held up. Euro dollar weekly RSI held up. And if you're aware of this, then that will help you avoid the situation where you're losing position at the lowest point, and when you close it, the market goes in your favor. And this is one of the focal points that we are really trying to stress, even in our trades for the subscribers.
Yes, and it's important. We always say to understand beforehand what you want to do, because you don't want to be making decisions at a stressful point. You want that decision made so you can just follow your strategy.
Yeah, and you've said it all the time, and we know it's a trade your plan and plan your trade. And what does that mean? That means when you're going into a trade, you really want to have a good, solid idea where do you want to get out. But it's not just about knowing your goal. It's when you approaching your goal, when you get to your goal, well, what do? Do you abandon everything and do you just go, do you take the opposite way? When do you reassess? And one of the things that I tell people is, after you've done your homework and after you've done your technicals, your fundamentals, your risk analysis, when you go in, you can start entering with one trade, but don't make it your only trade. So if you usually go in with 2 lots, you do 0.5, and then you do in 0.4, and then you can do 1.1. And then you put different trade sizes at different prices, at different levels. Why? Because when you exit and you lock in your gain, you're exiting at different positions.
That's right, and that way you can have like a break-even level, you get out of some of it, and then you're just kind of trading with house money, and then you can let that go.
Absolutely, because if you get in with one position, and because you're so sure about it, and your part of your ego says, okay, put everything in it, and whether it's 5% of your account or 7%, and you go in, and you made your 80 pips, and you get out, what do? Do you get back in when the market is much higher and much closer to the resistance, and you're vulnerable to what could be just a pullback? But but if you got in, part of the way you got in at a fractional level, then you are okay if the market does the pullback.
Great. We've been talking with Ashraf Laidi at Traders Expo New York. We're going to take a little break, and then we're going to talk about some really interesting work Ashraf is doing with the dollar, gold, and the yuan.